Native language. A native language, also called traditional varieties of British language, American language, Australian language, and this is the different language in our entire world. Nativized varieties. Nativized varieties have developed in places where English was not originally spoken and which have been influenced by the local languages and culture. For lingua franca Englishes, a lingua franca is a common language used by people of different language backgrounds to communicate other people. The functions of language. There are major types of language. There are communication, identity, and culture. Communication. People use language to communicate with one another. Identity. People use language to signal to other people who belong to. And lastly, the culture. The people use culture to express our traditional. For the English in the world today, we all know that we have different kinds of languages that we learned or we discussed of our instructor. Bra Carol, he said that English now has multicultural identities. So let's have Englishes than English, he said. So we have birth of terms. So ESL, English as a second language. So atong nakatunan when it comes kung eskwela ta or another language. So ELF, English as a lingua franca, and lastly EFL, English as a foreign language. Caro circle mode. There are three types of circle: the inner, outer, and expanding circle. The inner circle, most people have English as a first language. So the place it belong here: UK, USA, Caribbean, Canada, and Australia. Outer circle, people need English for secondary education, for politics, law, business, inside the country, or in Africa and Philippines. Expanding circle, lastly, people need English for communication in business, politics, education, and primarily with speaker of other languages from outside the country. Most country belong here, European and East Asian countries. Language, dialect, and variety. Language, there are five criteria belong here. So language involves to develop is standardization. Vitality is it refers to existence of a living community of speakers. Autonomy, it's a criteria was filled different languages. Reduction is an interesting criteria to reduce or to written standard or and help to distinguish varieties from standard varieties. Lastly, norms. Norms determine a good and bad speakers. A good speakers, they represent a proper usage while the bad speakers are not. So we define how language differ to one another. From the dialect and variety, there are main types of variety. There are regional, social, and phonological dialect. Dialect mostly is associate some different speakers of a language, and phonological also called accent, where RP or received pronunciation and NEE, North America English, belong here in dialect. Dialect. So in many cases, it's difficult, but if we understand the different kinds of language, we learn. So language is one way to communicate other people, sharing our thoughts and feelings to one another. Also, language provide our knowledge and talkative skills. That's all that I've learned, sir. Thank you.